1-2 to Gleyber Torres. He struck him out, and the ball game is over. Edwin Diaz for the 4-out save, 4 strikeouts.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Shea Station podcast. Today is July 28th, and the Mets are 2 wins fatter thanks to the help of the New York Yankees, who they took 2 of 2 games from at Citi Field in the first set of the Subway Series. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jolly Olive, aka Jack. Joining me, as always, is my guy from Ohio, Jerry Blevins. Jerry, those were 2 absolutely electric games.
2 great games. The atmosphere in Citi Field, you could feel it coming across. On even last night on the ESPN broadcast, you could really hear the atmosphere, man. It was awesome. Those are always fun for players. You know, you try to talk it down, but it really does bring an extra energy because, you know, you feel it for your fans. These are just one game. You also want to show that you're competitive against the Yankees, who have been the best team in baseball basically all year. But you want your fans to have those bragging rights when they see the Yankees walking down the street, a guy with a Yankees hat on or a girl with a Judge jersey, to be able to be like, guess what? You're 0-2 against my Mets. So
guess what?
Feel good about yourself.
Yeah, I mean, Yankees fans like to clown on Mets fans, saying that this is their World Series. But I mean, even the players were saying this felt like a playoff environment. Matt Carpenter said to Pete Alonso on first base, hey, I would love if this was a World Series matchup. Pete said the same thing. I thought that was really cool. So I think as long as the players are into it, be as into it as you want to be. And it really felt like it because both crowds were sold out and loud as hell with Mets and Yankees fans. Just in a really exciting 2 days. I kind of wish it was a 3-game set. I had it explained to me how the schedule works this year, and I really don't care because I wanted to see 6 games. I wanted to see it.
You talked about it, about the series where we used to do 4 in a row, 2 at our place, 2 at their place, or vice versa. That is so much fun because you get to stay at home, but you go on the road. Like, it's still cool. But again, this the way they had to compact all the schedule, we get some weird, you know, things, but it was nice. A little 2-run set sandwiched in between a couple of off days. Nice, because we got some bullpen performances that could use a day of rest for Edwin Diaz. He's going to get another day of rest. But it was great. Also, I just want to quiz you. What episode is this, Mr. Jolly Olive?
This is number 85 of Shea Station.
85.
And on the
Do you have something special planned for episode 100?
I feel like I feel like it might. I have to do the math because I know we do like 2 a week. It might coincide with like October. So there might be something special happening there anyway.
We'll start to map it out. By we, I mean you. And by you, I mean, you know, you and Audio Jack, maybe.
Yeah, of course.
You're the engine that runs this ship.
Guys, get excited. That's all I'll say. We'll do something fun.
It's special. I just feel like, you know, you used to be like, we're in episode number 71, and you just said, good.
I forgot it today.
Like, that's my guy right there.
All right, guys, we're going to get into these game recaps. A ton of great performances by the Mets and Yankees. But first, I got to tell you about our sponsor for today's episode, which is Bear Burger. If you are in New York, this is the place to be. Joe's McFly recently dropped in for his vlog there. He loved it. I loved it. And you will love it too. They're a burger joint, but they're not bogged down by labels. Their menu is filled with options for everyone, regardless of dietary preferences, whether you're 100% vegan, or I'm not going to say that part because they always want me to say it. Ketchup is a vegetable. I don't agree. Bear Burger, there's only one dietary restriction you'll be limited to: food that's made to taste great. Just got to remind you guys of their events that go on every week. Their kitchen and bar happy hour is the best in New York City, 12 to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. They got their exotic burgers. You know about them by now. The bar bites at Bear Burger Kitchen. That's a tough thing to say. Try saying that 5 times fast. All food items are $9.95 Monday through Friday, 4 to 7 p.m. And they have their lunch special. Kitchen and bar, 12 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, $14.95 for all meals, all served with fries as well. Plenty of great deals. They're dying to get you in there. So click the link in the description to find yourself at your new favorite happy hour spot, burger joint and luncheon at marketing.bearburger.com. Go check out Bear Burger. It's the most hoppin' joint in New York, and they got great stuff. And I think you guys will really enjoy it. But I think what we'll enjoy more is this Game 1 recap, because
Let's get into it.
Started with a bang. Game 1 of the Subway Series. Taijuan Walker toes the slab for the Mets, and the Yankees pounce on Walker in shocking fashion after he gets DJ LeMahieu out Aaron Judge works a good count and hits a homer to right center, trots around the bases, and then the first pitch thrown to Anthony Rizzo, he hits that the opposite way to left center. Back-to-back solo home runs make it 2-0 Yankees in a flash. Taijuan Walker had allowed 2 home runs in his last 80 and 2/3 innings prior to this single inning where the Yankees go back-to-back on him, just to show you how well he's controlled the ball in the park this year. So they're down 2-0 early. Yankees fans are already talking, and then the Mets answer back in huge fashion. Starling Marte cranks his 10th home run of the year, a screaming line drive down the line to cut the lead in half, 2-1, and then Francisco Lindor and Pete Alonso smack back-to-back doubles off Jordan Montgomery. Alonso regains that MLB RBI lead that Aaron Judge had for about 5 seconds, so he jumps ahead of him there. And then Eduardo Escobar from the right side. We've been seeing righty Escobar a lot, and it's been really working. He punches a 2-run shot to the right side, or to the left side, excuse me, to give the Mets a 4-2 lead. They jump all over Jordan Montgomery, who they've kind of had his number for quite a while now. And then Starling Marte doubles. Josh Donaldson's throwing error in the following inning allows him to score on Lindor's grounder, so that makes it 5-2 Mets. And then Taijuan Walker was in and out of jams this entire night, and what would end up being a quality start. He escapes with 2 runners on in the second after he picks off Isaiah Kiner-Falefa at first base and gets a sharp lineup from Jose Trevino. Kiner-Falefa said that was the best pickoff move he had ever seen in his career, so a little bit of kudos there, like that. He worked around multiple runners in the third too, gets the Matt Carpenter strikeout, who was kind of quiet this series, which I enjoyed because he was red hot coming into it. Then the Yankees leave him loaded in the 4th inning. They get an RBI fielder's choice, and then Rizzo, after a 4-pitch walk to Judge, swings 3-0 and flies out to the deepest part of the ballpark, basically in center field at the wall to Brandon Nimmo. Taijuan Walker escapes that, and then he gets his final 7 batters in order. So he goes 6 innings, 3 earned runs, 7 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, 101 pitches. He leaves with a quality outing after all of that. The Mets were able to knock out Monty early, but they're stymied by the Yankees bullpen. Ron Marinaccio looked pretty good. Jonathan Loaizaga, Aroldis Chapman, they all had scoreless innings there. The big part of this game for me was our bullpen, specifically Adam Ottavino. We didn't really know how we were going to bridge the gap from Taijuan Walker to Edwin Diaz because we knew that was always the plan. It ends up being Adam Ottavino, who's on 2 days rest, and he comes up and he gets 5 huge outs against his former team that traded him to their rival. Crazy story there. With 2 on and 1 out, the Mets catch Rizzo stealing second on a double steal. Really good awareness by Tomas Nido, knowing that he wouldn't get Aaron Judge at third. He decides to go to second, gets Rizzo stealing there, and then Ottavino gets the Gleyber Torres pop out to escape the 7th. He gets the first 2 outs of the 8th and walks the final batter, so he's out of there. He lowers the season ERA to 2.35. He has a 0.94 ERA in his past 28 games. Otto has been absolutely special for the Mets, really filling in that 8th inning void that we've kind of needed to fill all season long. Jeff McNeil adds a valuable insurance run with an 8th inning RBI off Albert Abreu. That was an 0-for-19 slump he was mired in. A huge run for the Mets that puts them up 6-3. After that initial Ottavino walk, Edwin Diaz was brought in and Joey Gallo was brought in. Kind of the weirdest matchup you'll see of this series. High strikeout percentage versus high strikeout percentage. Can you guess how it ended? It ended in a strikeout. Diaz ends the 8th inning with that, takes him only 4 pitches, and then he comes back on for the 9th, gets the first strikeout, lets a runner on, and then gets a double play ball right in front of the mound from Aaron Judge, and it just slips right out of his grip. Slips out of his hand, and I like to think that maybe he wanted to get more strikeouts because he follows that up by striking out Anthony Rizzo, and Gleyber Torres on 7 pitches to end the game. Diaz gets the 4-out save. The Mets bridge the order with Ottavino and Diaz. The top of the order shows up. Marte, Lindor, and Alonso go 7 for 10 with 5 runs, 2 RBI, 3 doubles, and a homer. And the Mets pitching holds the Yankees to 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position, and they strand 10 runners total. It was an absolutely electric environment, and the Mets take game 1 6-3.
Nicely done, sir. Couple of things. Number one, Taijuan Walker. After allowing those 2 home runs in the first, it felt like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like this is gonna get bad. This is ugly. You're feeling like the Yankees, the Bronx Bombers are gonna come, the baby bombers or whatever they're calling. They're not babies, they're all old guys. And
now they're
he bounced back, man, and he did excellent. This is, again, I'm gonna say it again. This is Taijuan Walker at his best.
Mm-hmm.
He came out of the All-Star break and we were like, oh, he's going to allow home runs again. But no, he settles in. He still looks sharp. This is a good team, man. And he had that pickoff move working really well. That was huge. He's had it all season, man. He's done a really good job of holding runners. He does something we haven't seen in a long time from a righty, and hold runners and make that a part of his game. He looked great. Ottavino, huge. That Nito caught stealing of Rizzo, also huge. But man, how about Edwin Diaz?
Oh man,
that was special. Like, he came off and that ball popped out in such a weird.
I know.
Oh, it felt like a Tom Brady, arm moving forward. Was that a fumble? The tuck rule, because it popped out. Usually it's when it goes back, but he was moving forward. Very weird, but he gets huge punch outs. He's nasty. Huge outs. Just an awesome job. So
yeah, I think the Edwin Diaz thing was weird because when they showed it on like that slow-mo high definition replay, it looks like he has a pretty good grip on it, and then it just whittles out.
That's what I thought, but sometimes it happens, man. It's weird.
And I definitely agree that I thought this was going to be a high-scoring affair in the first. I mean, they went 4-2 in the first inning, and then the rest of the game was kind of quiet. But I think the crowd was just so amped up that it didn't matter. And there were plenty of scoring situations, but I think both sides were able to just, weasel their way out of it. I still can't believe Taijuan Walker got 6 innings, 3 earned runs out of this. That was extremely impressive because this pitch count was pretty high entering the 5th. He kind of needed exactly what he got, 6 up, 6 down to get through those 6. And I don't know what the Mets would have done with their bullpen to go 5 and 6 there, but I'm glad that that's something they didn't have to worry about. That's
the truth. I wasn't. I was just like watching Taijuan, making sure that he just looked really good, man. He settled in and pitched really well. So that moves us to game number 2, Mad Max Scherzer versus Sunday German, Mr. Domingo Herman. Both starters got to a really fast start, 1-2-3, 1-2-3. But in the second, the Peter on the heater strokes a homer. Puts the Mets up 1-0. Pete Alonso doing his thing, number 26 on the season. Scherzer continued to cruise. He allowed a couple of singles in the 3rd, but he gets a huge punch out of Aaron Judge to end the threat. Tomas Nido in the bottom of the 3rd leads off the inning with a ringing line drive double. But Lindor picks up his teammates with a big 2-out, 2-strike RBI single to bring home Nido. That puts the Mets up 2-0 in the 3rd. Scherzer starts doing his thing. In the top of the 5th, though, Josh Donaldson absolutely laces a ball off the top of the wall in right center field gap. But he gets a couple of strikeouts followed by a walk. DJ LeMahieu lines out, who had just an amazing series, looked good all series long, LeMahieu. But he gets out of it in the top of the 5th. That moves us to the bottom of the 5th. Herman doesn't quite get through the 5th. He only allows those 2 runs, goes 4 2/3. But the Mets leave 2 runners on to let him escape, and it's still 2-0. That brings us to the top of the 7th. IKF starts the inning off with a double, but once again, Max Scherzer steps up, gets a couple of big outs, and Aaron Judge in a huge strikeout situation to end his outing to go 7 shut. Just a huge electric moment. Him high-fiving guys through there. You're just like, I want to tell you good job in the dugout, but I also don't want to hurt myself or you to hurt me. So it was a very aggressive high five from Mad Max, but a good outing, man. He dominated, looking great through 7. That brings us to the top of the 8th, where in steps David Peterson in an interesting idea when you're up 2-0 to bring in a starter all season. I wasn't sure about it, and it didn't pay off because he walked Anthony Rizzo and went left, right, left. That was the big idea, but he walks Anthony Rizzo on 4 straight, and then on his 5th pitch, he allows Gleyber Torres to go oppo, tie ball game, just like that, 5 pitches into the 8th inning, and we're tied. He does get Matt Carpenter on a big punch out, but in steps Seth Lugo, who punches out the next 2 hitters. That brings in the bottom of the 8th with Pete Alonso leading off. Aaron Boone and the Yankees do the smart thing and bring in Clay Holmes, their best reliever, their closer, and Alonso and company don't get a run in, but what they do is very Met stuff, and they, it's Alonso, it's Canna, it's McNeil, Vogelback, all make Clay Holmes work. He wasn't wild. He was really close to the zone, but they made him throw 21 pitches. So Clay Holmes gets a clean eighth, but he throws enough pitches to where he can't go in the ninth. Well, in the top of the ninth, Lugo continues his dominance. He allowed a single to DJ LeMahieu, who we talked about, but gets judged to end the top of the ninth. He gets 5 huge outs in what was probably his best and biggest outing of the year. It's still 2-2. And the bottom of the ninth, here we go. This is where it happens because of Clay Holmes not being able to be efficient in the eighth. He's out. Wandy Peralta is in. He's a lefty. We get right-handed Eduardo Escobar. What's he do? He pops a double to start. You get a runner in scoring position to start the bottom of the ninth. It's feeling good. Nito bunts him over. Nimmo, with a runner on third and 1 out, has a swinging bunt that scoots away. Nimmo, always hustling, beats the hesitant throw from Wandy Peralta for an infield single. That's first and third, 1 out. In step Starling Marte, and we get a Marte parte as he slaps a single, scoring Escobar. The Mets win 3-2. Every single player, a starting position player in the lineup, except McNeil, recorded at least 1 hit. Big outing from Max Scherzer, Seth Lugo, just looking great. Sorry about your day, Peterson, but the offense looked solid. They came up clutch. Defense was great behind them. A big 2-game sweep. I don't know, sweep is the strong word, but they definitely win both games of 2-game series. And it was a good win because, we kind of needed that. We didn't have Diaz, but Lugo stepped up. Awesome game. Good job by Marte. Just a great performance overall. The Mets kind of dominated except for that 1 inning. And it still wasn't enough because the Mets win.
I liked what somebody told me on Twitter. They said instead of a sweep, we can call it a dusting. And I was like, oh, dusting.
Dusting.
All
right,
not like a full
duster
sweep,
out. That's pretty funny. I like that as well.
I think I might steal that.
That's a funny one.
Lots of takeaways from this game. One, I fully agree that this was Seth Lugo's best appearance of the year by far. I was really nervous to bring him in for the eighth. I'm not going to lie, it didn't work out. I kind of liked the Peterson idea in the eighth, put him in, baptism by fire, see if he can do it. He obviously couldn't, which was unfortunate. And then they brought Lugo in anyway, and he looked fantastic, the best he had all season. So I was wrong there for sure. Max Scherzer was an animal, an absolute freak on his birthday. That was a real joy to see. What else we got here?
It was his birthday.
It was his birthday, and he's like historically very good on his birthday. So no surprise there for 7 shutout innings by him. Righty Escobar just looks so much better than lefty Escobar. I don't know if something's clicked recently or if that's always been a thing. I'll have to look at the splits, but I think that might need to be a plan going forward because I feel like he just looks more confident there. It looks like his stroke is just better. He took a really good swing against Wandy Peralta, and I loved what you said about the Clay Holmes inning because I feel like that's something we're not really talking about. Clay Holmes has gone 2 plenty of times this season. He could have easily gotten a 6-out, hold there or whatever you want to call it. Instead, they have to bring in Wandy, which normally would have been a spot for Michael King probably. And that's a much tougher inning for the Mets, so they kind of get a break there. But yeah, all around a great win. I think the Mets were in control for most of it. And I kind of wish they got more off Domingo Germán, but a win's a win.
Yeah, man. Lugo pumping 97.
Yeah.
Throwing 92 little cutters. His curveball wasn't quite as consistent, but it was good enough. Like he
had a
punched
couple
out
good
Donaldson
ones.
on kind of a backup. And then he had it working enough. It was still nasty. He looked great. Again, you're right. The Vogelback doing what he does. You made some notes that he's been on base 5 out of 8 at bats.
Yeah, he's already just being productive, getting on base, fitting in the Mets formula.
He walked on 6 pitches, didn't swing the bat. They were all close pitches, but he does that. That's not non-typical from him. I remember facing him once in, I think it was like 2019 spring training. And I faced him. I threw like 6 pitches. He didn't swing. I walked him. And I was like, he looks like a free swinger. Like, no offense, body type. But he's patient. He's that kind of guy. He's a Nimmo type. That was huge because they had him and Canna batting back to back.
Yeah.
Like, that's gnarly.
That's annoying for your pitcher for
That's
sure.
annoying.
And that worked out well for Clay Holmes. I mean,
yeah, because Holmes was all around the zone, and normally you get guys that are like looking for, because they know how good Clay Holmes is, and he was nasty, by the
yeah,
way.
yeah, he's gross.
That sinker is filth. But they spit on it, made him work. That is a veteran approach. It really won him the game because they got to get Peralta in the game instead of Clay Holmes going 2, which I'm sure that he would have gone 2.
Yeah.
Not have to throw 21, but that was great, man.
Both these games were just kind of like chess matches, and like we're kind of won on moments a little bit. And I really loved the that you pointed out, like the great at bats between Vogie and Canna to just make Holmes work. You mentioned that Vogie is very Nimmo-esque. I'm not sure what's going on with our guy Nimmo.
Yeah.
I don't. That last at bat in the 9th really had me worried. Swinging first pitch at a pitch on his wrists, and
he also
he was
had a 2-0 swing on a 2-0 curveball that he rolled over. That is not a normal.
That's not Brandon Nimmo.
2-0 curveball is usually thrown to get like all right, get me over strike.
Yeah,
he's looking for a pitch like to drive because it's 2-0. He's not going to hit swinging a curveball, but he rolled it over. It's probably coming out of the second half, just kind of pushing a little bit. He'll probably settle in. He does his thing. He hasn't, he really hasn't found his stride, and he's still. What's his OPS plus? Because
it's still good, but his on base is like one of the lowest marks of his career. Here, I'll pull it up really quick.
I bet
346 on base.
What's that?
346 on base.
Plus?
His OPS plus is 118.
Yeah, I mean he's 18% better than league average. He still like is searching for how to look to drive the ball, but also keep his identity, which he's still figuring out completely. And to be 18% above league average while also figuring that out is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about him. I would like to see him be a little bit more patient, especially in those counts where you don't have to swing. So I think it'll come. I think he's really smart, and he's really intelligent about how he approaches the game and his research. So I'm not worried about him, but he's got another level to go. So
yeah, that OBP is 40 points below his career average of 386. We mentioned righty Escobar before. I looked up those splits. A 590 OPS as a left-handed batter and 835 OPS as a right-handed batter.
Ooh, so that's nice. Is that career-wise too? Is he? That's
this season.
But I know, but is he?
No, career-wise, he's much better as a lefty. So I think he's just kind of having a rough season. I'll pull up the numbers there as well.
Sometimes that can carry over too. Sometimes when you get hot from one side, that confidence could carry over where you're batting left-handed, and it just feels right. But
yeah, I mean, as a lefty in his career, 720, and then as a righty, 782. So it's much closer. But
it is closer, but he's definitely a more of a power hitter from the right side. But he's
for sure.
I mean, 720 from the left, which you're going to face a lot more right-handers. But
yeah,
you look good, man.
Everybody looked pretty good this series. We were preaching bullpen help last episode, and then Seth Lugo and Adam Ottavino kind of shut us up a little bit.
Speaking of everybody looked good, we have some major candidates for the apple of our eye.
And before I tell you who my apple is, I got to tell you who it's brought to you by, and that is Greg Morris Cards. Thank you to them for sponsoring today's episode of Shea Station.
Run GMC doing his thing.
Yes, sir. They invented that, actually. They have it trademarked. The most trusted sports card seller on the planet. They sell over 80,000 sports cards every month, which is over 2,000 a day. You knew that off the top of the dome? That's crazy. It's all exclusively on eBay. They sell baseball cards from every era, pre-war, post-war, future war, modern, all the ones that you can think of in your brain. You can go get yourself a Seth Lugo card today because the value is skyrocketing. Why do people trust GMC for buying cards? Well, his team hand grades every card that they sell. Buyers have been trusting Greg's grades for years. If Greg says the card is mint, you know the card is mint. Go to gregmorsecards.com to see their inventory, and they want to give you $10 in free cards just for hearing about them from Jomboy Media. So go to their website, find the cards you want, and if you win the eBay auction, message them with the code JOMBOY to get $10 off your order. That's gregmorsecards.com. Thank you to them for sponsoring today's Apple of Our Eye.
Yay. You're going first this time.
I'm going first?
You're going first because I'll let you go. You go.
There's so many good choices, though. All right, so All right, you know what? I am gonna go with the easy one because you took the easy one last time, and he's kind of been the easy one for a couple episodes now. I'm taking Pete Alonso. I haven't taken Pete in a while because I've been kind of a contrarian a little bit, trying to give other guys some love. But Pete, when he goes, everybody else goes, and he was working this series. I really loved this stat that my friend Tyler Gallo posted on Twitter. Pete Alonso on ESPN broadcasted games this season, which is 5 of them. He has a 437 batting average, 3 home runs, 8 RBI, and a 1.125 slugging percentage. And they are 5-0 on primetime ESPN games now, and that's mostly because of Pete Alonso. He had a great 2 game set, 4 for 6, a double, a homer, 2 runs, 2 RBI, 2 walks. He was doing everything. When pitchers were trying to attack him low in the zone, he would just line them right in the center and right center field for singles. Pete is taking hits where he can get them, really managing good at bats, spitting on bad breaking balls. He looks like the most complete hitter I've seen him be so far. And I think that he's finally heating up again. We saw him get a little cold in the Cubs series in the beginning of the Padres series. Then he had that big 3-hit game in game 2 that they lost, 3 singles, but that was still very encouraging, and then exploded in the final game with that big home run and that big double. I think Pete is back. I think he's due for a very good August because that's the way it's looking. And it could not be a better time for him to get hot because we need these wins. So Pete Alonso gets the apple of my eye.
Love it. Peter on a heater. Can you say that?
That should be a shirt, by the way. Peter on a
Peter
heater.
on a heater.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I like it. Oh, yeah, man. So deserving. Clutch. Huge.
Super clutch.
Getting us on the board in the second game right off the bat. Like, it's so nice. Right off the bat. The bat.
Oh,
and now you
my
know
God.
that's another
You're all over the place.
Baseball reference in the world.
You just woke up on a creative
Peter
itch.
On a heater.
Writing
that's
it
my
down.
guy. So there's so many people I want to acknowledge. You did a great job in the notes. Marte, huge game, 4 for 9, 2 runs, a double, a homer, 2 RBI. Electric. Lindor, 3 for 7, 2 runs, a double, an RBI, a walk. Awesome. Escobar, that huge double. He had a huge homer in the first game. That the winning run in the bottom of the 9th off that leadoff double. 2 runs scored, 2 RBI. Incredible. Max Scherzer, 7 shutout in the second game. Incredible. But
yes,
my guy, Edwin Diaz, the back of the bullpen, 4-out save, huge. 1 1/3 innings pitched, 1 hit, which was kind of a hit. I'm not going to call it a hit, but it's a hit. No walks, 4 punchies on all 4 outs. Huge save. Edwin Diaz, Sugar, my man, the apple of my eye.
I think we can definitively say that we have the best closer in baseball. I do think the best closers in baseball were in this series, Edwin Diaz and Clay Holmes. And they both were scoreless, but I think that, we put up a much better fight against Clay Holmes, and Edwin Diaz looked utterly dominant. I had said that when he dropped that double play ball, the fear didn't creep up on me because I knew it was coming. And it was 7 pitches and 2 Ks against 2 really good hitters in Anthony Rizzo and Gleyber Torres. We really handled Aaron Judge this series too. Scherzer, I want to give him some love. He struck him out 3 times, which is crazy. Just the second pitcher all season to do that to him. Starling Marte was all over the place this series, but Edwin Diaz, definitely deserving of an apple here because he just looked so good. What a story Edwin Diaz is. What a story.
It's beautiful. They were kind of he's special, man. And it's like a security blanket back there. You're all warm and toasty because you're just like, okay, I can go ahead and close my eyes if need be because he's going to take care of me. He's going to pet me while I'm trying to sleep.
He's going to caress me. He's
I
going to
love
make me
it.
feel safe. I mean, when's the last time you gave up a run?
Don't do this.
I'm going to look
do
it up.
this. Don't do it. You can look at it. Don't say it.
I won't say it. I won't say it.
Yeah, you can look at
it. It's been a while. It's been a long time since I gave up a run.
Yeah.
Down to a 1.55 ERA.
Yeah, dominance.
We're witnessing, I think we're witnessing the best closer season in Mets history. I think we might be. I can't think of a better one.
There's a lot of season left, but I do believe in Edwin Diaz, and I've been saying it for a while, and as have you, that he's the best closer in the game right now.
Yeah,
he was easily top 5 going into the season. We talked about in our PPPs. We needed him to step up. We've been singing his praises all season long, and he's done nothing but be better than we anticipated.
Just
His
incredible.
ability to him and Taiwan Walker have been the two stories for me because they both have elevated their games based off of experience. There's electric stuff, but they've been able to do in-game adjustments and reading swings. It's awesome to watch, man. It's Edwin Diaz is the perfect combination of just electric stuff, and now he's also a pitcher, which is awesome. So I love it.
And I know it's more of an off-season discussion, but Edwin Diaz is a free agent.
Lock him up.
That qualifying offer is back. Just saying, it's back. So
Lock him up. That's what that chant's all about, right?
yeah,
You
exactly.
want to lock him
Yeah,
up.
there's no other meaning
Twice.
actually. I've actually never heard that before. So it's pretty interesting. The Mets, who just won 2 in a row against the best team in baseball, are also getting reinforcements back soon. The Mets expect to have Trevor May back next Tuesday, potentially.
Oh, that's so cool.
I know. Another eighth inning guy, potentially. He's going to pitch Friday through Sunday for AAA Syracuse. James McCann, who strained his oblique, is way ahead of schedule, about 2 weeks ahead of schedule. He's starting his rehab assignment today, Thursday. And then the big one, of course, is Jacob deGrom, who's penciled in to return as early as next week for the set against the Nationals, potentially the game that I'm going to that you had to call out of, which is a bummer, and I feel bad for you.
I know. I can't make it. We got some things, but that is really special. I don't want to speculate that he's going to be in, because there's a million different scenarios. There's no rush for Jacob deGrom.
Yeah.
I don't want him to push to be here, to be in the big leagues again. He threw only 4 innings for AAA.
Right.
So I would like him to get up to 6 innings. We'll see. But, whatever the case may be, they're taking it slowly, I'm sure. They're watching it even more closely than we are, but I'm excited, man. I haven't seen him pitch in a big league game in over a year, and that is far too long. So
far too long.
Yeah.
He threw 67 pitches at AAA. He did give up 4 runs, so if you're having a meltdown over that, he still feels good. Which is
2
what
hits
he said after the game.
3 walks. The walks are the rust, so he's knocking the rust out.
Yeah, Buck's non-committal quote was, "We hope his next outing is with us, and we will see." So a lot of different reports from Mets beat writers. DeComo, who I think is probably the most verifiable one, said potentially August 2nd. So we'll see. Don't put all your stock into that, but also, don't get not excited because it's Jacob deGrom.
Don't get not excited.
Come on.
I wouldn't be able to go to those games anyway. I'll be in New York for the first, second, and third because I'll be doing pre and post.
So I'm dodging you again. This is unbelievable.
Well, you do it on purpose. You do it on purpose. You go on vacations. You go on vacations when I show up in the city.
Yeah, I plan my schedule.
A little bit of weirdness though. I'm leaving today to go to Chicago for 3 days. I'm going to be in the booth, in the TV booth for the A's doing the Red Sox.
Look at you.
Which I'm excited about. This is my first go round.
Jerry cheating.
So I'll be doing that, and then I'll be 3 days in New York, and then I got to come home right after the game. But yeah. This is exciting times.
Jerry Blevins?
Yeah, I know, man. I can do it all. Don't worry about it. I'm like, I'm the Seth Lugo of broadcasting.
TV, radio, podcast, pregame, postgame.
What else is there?
God damn.
Am I going to start making YouTube videos?
I mean, you might have. Oh, I don't need more competition, actually. So why don't you stay in your lane? All right, stay in your lane.
Oh, that's a valid point. I don't have time for that anyway.
Tell me who is going against each other in the final set of July, please.
This is it. This is a 3-game set against the Miami Marlins. They might be a little bit different than you may remember because they are dealing with a lot of injuries. Let me go on them. So no Jazz, kind of like, the basketball team that used to be in New Orleans. There's Jazz down there, but now they're in Utah. Who knows? He's on the 60-day dealing with a lower back stress fracture. Looks likely that Garrett Cooper got hit on the wrist. He's on the 10-day. He will not be there. No Jorge Soler, no Brian Anderson, possibly no Met killer John Birdie because he's on the 10-day. It was retroactive. I think he's eligible to come off during the series, but I'm not sure how likely it is. I'm sure Mets fans and the Mets players would be awesome if he were to need a couple more days.
Yeah, a few more.
But that brings us to game number one. It's Chris Bassett and his 3.72 ERA. He's got over his last 6 starts and 40 2/3, he's got a 2.43 ERA. 2.43 ERA is pretty good.
Yeah.
He is battling Sandy Alcantara. If that's
like
what
that.
we're going to do here at Jomboy. Bassett, pretty good in his last 6 starts. Sandy, pretty good all season with a 1.81 ERA all season long. He is easily the front runner to be the NL Cy Young winner, running away with it. But guess what? Still got to face the Mets. Still got a good chance. If I'm a betting man, I'd bet on those Mets. Bassett versus Miami in 3 games started all in a row, actually, went 1-2 in 19 2/3 innings, but a 3.66 ERA. That's really good. Brian De La Cruz versus Bassett is 5 for 7 with 3 doubles and a home run. Probably going to pitch a little bit differently to that guy once there's a little bit of a book on him. The Mets have hit remarkably well against Sandy. Canna 2 for 5 with a homer. Vogie 2 for 6 with a homer. Guillorme 5 for 12. So we'll probably see Louis and Lindor in that double play combo. And McNeil will be playing left field, right field, who knows, because he's 8 for 28 with a homer off of him. And Lindor is 7 for 22 with a home run. But sounds like we'd crush him. Nope. Sandy versus the Mets this year, 1-1, 22 innings pitched, 2.45 ERA, and a .91 whip. We put them together, sit them down. That is game 1. Game 2. Cookie Carrasco and its 4.07 ERA going against Trevor Rogers and his 5.85 ERA, but he's a lefty. Jesus Aguilar, who is 5 for 11, Miggy Rojas, 3 for 9, all and with a home run off of Cookie. Cookie's been fantastic in July, though, 4-0 with a 22 and a third innings pitch and a 1.21 ERA, 20 punch outs to 7 walks. That is pretty darn good, if you ask me. Trevor Rogers versus the Mets this season, the other end of that. He's 0-2 and 2 starts with a 9 and a third innings pitch, 7 earnings, 12 hits, 3 walks, 12 punch outs. And his last outing versus Cincinnati didn't go very well for Mr. Rogers. 3 2/3 innings pitched, 6 earned, 8 hits, 2 walks, 5 punchies. Rough outing. I think our lineup's a little bit better than Cincy. We'll see. That is game number 2. Game number 3, Taijuan Walker and his 2.67 ERA. Just absolutely awesome this year. He's going against Pablo Lopez. Taijuan has recorded 8 consecutive quality starts. In those 8 starts, he's 5-0 with a 2.12 ERA and 51 innings pitched. Walker has faced Miami this season 3 times. He is 3-0 in 19 2/3 innings pitched with a 1.83 ERA. 21 punches to 4 walks. That is a great ratio. Pablo Lopez versus the Mets this year is 1-1. He has 10 1/3 innings pitched, 7 earnings, 10 Ks, 2 walks. Nimmo and Lindor have homered off of Lopez this year. Other than that, it's kind of a mixed bag. But that is our 3-game set versus Miami, the final series of July, as we move into the dog days of August.
Well done. Lots to recap there. I feel like we've seen Chris Bassett and Sandy Alcantara face off numerous times this year. Lots to look forward to in this series. The Mets have had Miami's number. They're 7-4 this year against them. And our last meeting was that game where they kind of gave us a gift on Keith Hernandez Day a little bit. Yeah, I mean, we got 3 against Miami, 3 against the Nationals, and then that 5-gamer with the Braves that I keep alluding to. The Mets have opened up a 3-game lead because our Phillies took 2 of 3 against the Braves, so good for them. Big takeaway for me here is that no Peterson in the starting rotation. They're really trying to find spots to work him in. Kind of a tough deal for Peterson. He was really, really good in the rotation, but now you have a surplus. And there's
part
not
of the
much
world,
you can do
buddy.
about it.
Part of the world. You got to get in where you fit in because they want him to pitch. That was a tough spot for him to go into. I actually really don't like it at all.
Yeah.
You called it a trial by fire. I think you have to earn that spot in the 8th inning to be the setup guy. I would have loved to have seen Lugo come in right for that, because he can go 2 innings. We knew it. And if he gets those big outs, but again, it's easy to be, a Monday morning quarterback.
All right.
Or a Domingo morning quarterback.
Nice.
If you will.
Very well done.
Yeah.
No Petey. Trevor Williams, I think, is much better in that role, just the swingman that goes between the rotation and bullpen. But I think the plan is that they want him in the doubleheader against the Braves. They're going to want Peterson that day. So you're going to have to try and find ways to work him in, whether it's long relief or just trying to get him to do that single inning again. The Mets are keeping PD up, so he's going to be in kind of that weird limbo for a little bit. But this rotation has just been so excellent in July. They still have the best rotation ERA of any team in baseball. In July, they're really hitting their stride, and they're going to potentially add DeGrom soon. So things are only going to improve for this team. Just lots to love. This is a beaten up Miami team, which I didn't realize until you told me. Missing John Birdie would be huge because he's torched us all season long. And the big one for me is obviously game one. If you can beat Alcantara, then you can beat the Marlins. And that's the biggest game to take there, I think.
Yeah, and he's very beatable. He had his worst outing since May 6th. Against Pittsburgh. At Pittsburgh, he only went 6 innings and gave up 2 runs.
God, that's horrible. That's so terrible.
That was the first time since May 6th that he hasn't gone at least 7 innings.
That's ridiculous.
But he went 6 and gave up 2 runs. That is easily a quality start. The guy is unbelievable, but very beatable because they have to score runs. Yep. And Chris Bassett has been great recently and historically. So
Jerry,
I like our odds, man.
Do you recall my preseason pick for who the Cy Young was going to be?
Sandy.
It was Sandy.
Ooh, looking good.
Looking at 2 years in a row.
Yeah, nice.
Hopefully. We'll see. That was my little humble brag. Just snuck it in there.
Was it humble?
Yeah,
I didn't see any bit of humbleness.
That's what humbleness is right there.
Is that what you're just
it's boasting about your smartness?
No, I don't think that's what that,
I'm pretty sure I'm right, Jerry. I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I'm right. Yeah, I mean, absolutely great 2 days. Real fun episode. I think we got to get started on those Peter on a heater shirts. Those are pretty good, even though we never call them Peter.
Let's see if the people want them. Hit us
leave
up.
A comment.
Leave a comment under Jolly just saying Peter on a heater. At Jolly saying context. Peter on a heater.
I like it. Just stuff my inbox. I love it.
I wonder what that graphic shirt's gonna look like.
They'll have ideas. We got a good team over there.
They do. I'm just like, I don't know. Okay. All right.
Beat the Marlins. Go to DC, beat the Nets while I'm there specifically. Trade deadline is looming.
That's the exciting part for me. We could do I'm expecting for us to have to do this all hands on deck, spontaneous live conversation because we're going to get a big trade. I'm gonna
pull a Jerry, like you at the airport. I'm gonna be like on the train or something, going to DC. Something's gonna happen. I know.
We'll just do it in the 30 seconds you have between stations. We'll just do 30 seconds at a time.
Who do you think it's gonna be? Shot in the dark.
I have no idea. I'm still holding out for Juan Soto, man. We have
really.
Depth. I don't think they're going to do it. Did you see Rizzo just bury him in the media again?
No, I didn't.
And we made him this historical offer. He said, no, I'm not mad at him. It's just business. They're doing fan service right now. And it's driving me bonkers because he's just airing out a generational player saying he's greedy. It's all about business. When literally I've sat across from that organization in an arbitration hearing and listened to them dog me as a player over, points.
Silly.
Yeah. So, it is business. You're in the game of business. Your whole business job is to pay players as little as they can. So I don't know. It makes me mad.
I get it.
Inner union guy coming out because you don't air that out in public if you give a shit about the person of Juan Soto. Obviously you don't. You're bitter. I hope he
tell him, Jerry. Sound off.
It's true, man. You're bitter. So
I'm not gonna lie. When you said Rizzo, for like a split second, I thought you meant Anthony Rizzo, and I was like, "What beef do they have?" Anthony Rizzo.
That would be funny. Random beef.
Just randomly. No, yeah. I mean, the Nats, they're kind of a mess right now. And I think that Juan Soto, knowing his value as one of the best players of our generation, good for him. Whatever. So hopefully he'll get to go to a contender. Who knows who it'll be? But the Yankees, right after we beat them, traded for Andrew Benintendi. So I don't know if it's still them. I don't know if that makes them out or if it's a smokescreen or whatever, but the Juan Soto sweepstakes are still underway. And I think that is what's kind of holding up this market a little bit because we haven't seen a lot of trades. We've seen 2 trades.
We've seen a couple, but I imagine things will get heated up regardless of Juan Soto because your teams are still competing. Actually, this extra playoff spot with the expanded playoffs, I was kind of against it. It's creating a lot of action.
I'm not gonna.
A lot of contenders, a lot of teams not knowing what to do. But if you're out of it, you're gonna just dump your guys.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna see a lot of people moved. I'm anticipating a lot of moves. I still don't think Soto gets traded, to be honest.
I just think
he's
it's
got
too
2 years of
complicated.
service left, 2 years of arbitration. We'll see.
Yeah, and we mentioned before we started the show that the Miami Marlins are probably a surprise seller here. They're six games under 500. They got a lot of injuries. They'll probably be selling to get better for next year, but yeah, teams are really forming their identity in these last 5 days before the deadline. So things are going to get heated pretty quick, I think.
Yeah, I agree. All right, man.
Yeah, man. Good show.
Good show.
As always.
Get out of here.
All right.
Good job. Enjoy your off day, Mets fans.
Yeah.
Take a breath.
Take a breath. Those were some stressful games for sure, but they were fun. We like stressful.
Sir.
All right, guys. We will see you again Monday to recap the Mets and the Marlins and preview the Mets and the Nats. I'm going to Mets Nats in DC, so if you're going, I'll see you there. But for Jerry, I'm Jolly.
Let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets.
Let's do it.
See you guys soon.
Alonso to his left, flipped to the ground, and the ball game is over.